We are back with the Nets recap. That yo, we got to work on our applause button, man. That was horrible. Yo, the NBA has a good like instead of a
Let's
laugh
start over.
track, they have a no, because this is live on YouTube right now.
Oh shit, we live, baby. What's good?
We live. Yo,
Sorry about that.
put it in perspective. Put it in perspective. Nets recap. You see the headline. The Nets beat the Lakers easily, 109-98. That's B mad. I'm Fabian. Perspective. Raymundo, as you're gonna hear call me. This was another easy victory. B mad. How you feeling, Brooklyn native? I'm a bandwagon Nets fan. You are an official Nets fan from the jump. BK all day. How do you feel about the
Thank
win?
you, baby. It's a great win for Medina. That's Brooklyn, by the way. We looking good, man. Even without KD, Kyrie didn't have the best night, but James Harden looked good. He had 23 points, 11 assists, another double double. That's every night for him right now. He leads the league in assists. Joe Harris had a good game, 21 points. He was deadly from the three. And Cabarro, I can't say his name. Was it Timothy Luau Cabarro, something like that? He was killing, man. He had a good game tonight. He was
Luawa.
deadly from the point land, man. The Nets, they had okay, there you go. You say it.
Luawa.
um,
Luawa cover.
yeah, I'm gonna get it. I gotta get it. But yeah, they look good, man. They 18 3-point shot. They was trying to go for that record. They having 20 plus or 23 pointers a game. They have 20 the last two games. If they did it tonight, they got close to it. I mean, the streak ended, but still, they look good. And the Lakers they're shorthanded tonight. We kind of expected the game to go this way, and it is what it is right now. I mean, the score right now is. It looks like it was a closer game, but that's just garbage time. It got close to end, but the Nets had this the whole way.
Yes. Um, LeBron was in cruise control with his 32, 8, and 7. He just he didn't look like he was gonna ever do the LeBron takeover. He's just been smart again. The last thing we'll talk about it with the LeBron versus Jordan uh, podcast that we're gonna have special comparing those two in just the last 10 years of LeBron. He just he plays smart and it's Floyd Mayweather-ish. When Floyd picks his opponents and you go like you should have fought Pacquiao in '08. LeBron is not no. He took the East on when it was weak. He takes the West on when not. The West is still great. I don't want to fall into that Twitter narrative. But he picks and chooses these rightfully so. He's 36. He's getting older. He treats his body just very smart. One of the smartest superstar players ever. I don't want to go left field, but Shaq didn't do anything like that, right? Like Shaq was famously lazy. Um, LeBron is the total opposite, but he's in cruise control tonight. But cruise control, 32, 8, and 7, and Harden with
LeBron
20.
James night.
But Jesus Christ, like that's a LeBron James night. I'm just gonna show up and give a little 32. He hit the three from the corner. He tried shooting that three again, and he airballed it, and they took him out of the game. But another thing I did notice about him is that earlier in the pregame, we mentioned how LeBron has the most minutes defending the most positions on the court, and I heard I think it was either Reggie Miller or somebody saying this is a positionless era. That's far from the truth. You have the Jokic's of the world. You got AD who didn't play today. You have Joel Embiid. LeBron is able to play defend 1 through 4, and specifically the guards, the perimeter. Anybody on the perimeter, he directly defends them. And you can see there was one play where he threw Harden off. Harden was in cruise control, but he couldn't get past him, and he settled for like the step back three and just missed it. So that's LeBron at 36, still impacting the game like that.
Yeah.
They missed eight badly,
Yep.
badly. They don't score like
Yeah.
that. They're a middle of the
Definitely.
pack scoring. Yeah, they're a middle of the pack scoring team anyway, and they missed AD's 20 plus points tonight, and Schroeder. They couldn't make that up. They couldn't. And again, the fifth Western Conference team in a row. I think it's the fourth in a
Yeah.
row.
I think it's the fifth. It might be the fifth. We gotta look that up. But
If I'm not mistaken,
man, it's five wins in a row.
5 wins in a row on the West Coast trip. Either way, nobody in the East has as good as a record against the West as the Nets. They've been consistent with that all year. The couple blowouts earlier in the season versus Golden State, and neither Utah or not the Clippers. It might be Utah. They blew two Western Conference teams out. One of them was Golden State earlier in the year. And this past week, no KD, just spanking the West, one by one. So those things stood out. Another thing that stood out, you mentioned Luwawu Cabarro. I have a rule.
Yeah, man.
I think I have a rule now. If KD sits out and Luwawu, if Luwawu hits his first 2 threes, I'm gonna go and call my bookie and bet the Nets second half for the victory.
Damn.
If Luwawu
Sounds like a smart bet.
It does. If Luwawu misses his first 2, I'm gonna go ahead and call my bookie for the opposing team winning the second half of the game. But he made up some points, and of course, our boy BK Buckets, Joey Harris.
Buckets. Yes, sir.
Yep. Brooklyn Buckets himself, he killed. And this is funny. While I was writing these notes down, I'm watching Kyle Kuzma, right? And
yeah,
I don't want to say he's killing, but he's scoring. And I hear the announcers saying he's scoring, and the announcers are like, they like him. And I have never heard a bad word about Kyle Kuzma per se. I personally, hate is a strong word, right? But Kyle Kuzma, his game, or when he handles the ball, it deserves several strong words. I cannot stand him. It's not great basketball it's not great to look at. Like maybe he gets the job done, and it's one of those types of games. Like Paul Pierce had a game that wasn't fun to look at, but he was great. But Kyle Kuzma does not have that. Like fundamentally, he should not be dribbling. And right when I wrote the note down, like I forgot how much I sort of despise Kyle Kuzma's game. As soon as I write that down in the notes, he gets to the rack on DeAndre Jordan and then travels in the midst of a layup. Right on cue. They said that he was their third best scorer. I can't believe that Kyle Kuzma is their third best option. And they want a ring as Kyle Kuzma as their third best option. I find that.
Well, that's kind of his last year in the finals. Rondo had a lot to do with that. The point guard position. I mean, Rondo stepped out of nowhere. The production they got out of Rondo and during the playoffs. We just seen that after just him being out the playoffs and him being injured, him come back. No one's seen that. So I mean, Rondo has a lot to play into that fact of them getting that chip last year. I used to think that Kyle Kuzma. I don't know. I was one of those people that thought he was better than Brandon Ingram, and boy, was I wrong. I was wrong as fuck because Brandon Ingram was killing out in these, man. Dead wrong. He's averaging like 24 right now. I mean, the team is probably set up that way, but he's a much better ball player than Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma,
Yes.
I don't know. I thought seen some upside with him, and he's just like a middle of the pack type of player. He's a good role player. I mean, he fits that team for what it is, but yeah, ball handling, nah, don't let him be a facilitator on a certain play or try to make his own shot. He's not that guy. Brandon Ingram, he's that guy. And I think they kind of looking back at that right now, like, damn, maybe we sent the wrong dude, man.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if not the Hornets, that's the Pelicans. I always confuse them. I don't know if they asked for Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah.
I don't. And
yeah, I think
to your
that
point,
trade would happen without Ingram.
to your point, how much better would the Lakers be with Ingram compared to Kuzma? Especially with AD. I know he's kind of frail. He's not that strong, but AD and Ingram would have been a more formidable defensive matchup. Longer. They probably would have been. I mean, they're already a good defensive team. They're number one defensive rating.
Yeah, they'd have been a problem right now if they still kept Brandon Ingram. Like just his points, the way he plays, he can create his own shot. Like he can play defense. Like he's a good player all around. Right now, if they have him, they're a threat. I mean, they would be in a better position they are now. I mean, they're still the number one contender I see from the West, but if they still have him, that could cause a lot of problems with teams like Brooklyn or Philly coming out of the East.
I think they made a mistake also by the Pelicans did by trading what's the 2 guard for the Bucks? That was on he's a really great defensive player. They traded him to the Bucks, and then the Bucks got back. Wait, they couldn't have. His name's escaping me now. Anyway.
Wait, recently?
No, this is last year. He's on the Bucks and
you talking about Brogdon?
No, they got Steve Adams, don't they? The Pelicans? Or am I thinking of? Yeah, they do because they got Zion, Steve Adams, and they traded the dude. He was a 2 guard. And they traded him because Rondo was there with Anthony Davis and the 2 guard. He's a really good defensive player.
Talking about the point guard?
Point guard, 2 guard. Not Joey. I mean, it's escaping me. But the Nets, that wasn't Iron Eagle. That was this guy. That's with Reggie Miller. Forgetting his name too. Oh, it's with a flamethrower.
Oh, my man Harlan. Kevin Harlan.
Kevin Harlan is like a wrestling announcer. I like Kevin Harlan.
Yo, he's we gotta have that podcast about the announcers. He's Hall of Fame, Kevin Harlan. He needs more. Yeah. He needs more credit and more love than because he does all sports. He does it all.
Yeah. He mentioned how the Nets are the number one offensive rating team in the league, and they're on pace to be the best offensive ratings team ever. Ever. And I'm working on a blog right now.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But it makes sense. So I'm working on a blog right now. I keep on bringing the true shooting percentage, and the Nets have 7 players above 60%. And I'm looking for a team that's ever had that. The most I've seen right now, I think Golden State have 4. 2016 season. Wow. I've been going through all of them the last 20 years, especially. The Nets have 7, 6 or 7. That's crazy. Robin Lundberg just tweeted out, the Nets think they can outscore everybody. Yep. Like, answered his own question.
Yeah.
This is easily the best. I think are they the most dominant team we've seen this year besides the Jazz? think the Jazz can take the crown for now, but they just have these
Yeah.
games where they look better than everyone. Like the Jazz, we're still not convinced, and maybe it's because they don't have enough superstars. But the Nets come out and they, without their two of their three best players, come back, have a crazy dramatic victory. They blow out the Warriors.
Listen,
They beat the Clippers earlier on. They blew out the Warriors earlier in the season.
I see this, man. I'm just worried. Like, yeah, they look great. This is all good. This is all good. They, the big three of James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they've only played 6 games together. That's the scary part. They're 5-1 in those 6 games. When they start playing together consistently, and I said this earlier, it's scary hours, it's scary days, scary seasons, scary play, all that. It's gonna be fun to watch as a fan. If you're just a hoops fan, you don't got no horses in the race. It's gonna be ridiculous, man. Like it's gonna be like what they say with the St. Louis Rams years ago. They was the greatest show on turf. Like it's this offense is just ridiculous, man. And once they start going, it's a wrap. Good with KD even being out, or if Kyrie was out, they look good, man. And you know who's the big catalyst for that? James Harden. And Robin Lundberg did tweet out something also about James Harden. All the teams that did not want to give up certain players to not get James Harden are probably dying right now. Because he could have went to a few teams. A few teams turned it down. Like he was willing to go to certain other teams if they were just willing to let go of certain players. James Harden is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best scorers we've ever seen in this generation. He's a phenomenal player, and what he's doing right now, he's damn near averaging a triple double. People didn't expect that. A lot of people, we've had this conversation off here. You, Mel, a lot of people thought he was going to come bring the headaches. Him and Kyrie, and even Kevin Durant having their attitudes and the baby syndrome. All that shit is out the window right now. They exercise those demons. Looking at that chip. They here to play that. They trying to get that chip. You got good pieces around you. Joe Harris, Uncle Jeff Green, yo, Shan Cabarro. Like just they're loaded. They look good. I'm just hoping when it comes playoff time, a lot of the players like Joe Harris and the Cabarros and the Shamits, they don't fall under that pressure of the playoffs because it's a different game, it's a different league. When you're in the postseason, it's a different feel. Everything gets tight. Defense is in your face. They chasing you off that 3-point line. Those shots that you're getting now not gonna come as easily then. But we'll see. You got the big three right here. They can probably handle that load, but it's gonna be fun to watch, man. We'll see what happens, man. But they look great. They look great.
So two things. I think the role players. I got a
Here we
James
go.
Harden. No, I got a James Harden point about the teams, and before I get to that, I think the role players. I'm not really worried about them because these are the games I'm concerned about. Specifically, those players. When it's time to step up, they stepped up during this West Coast trip. This is
Right.
supposed to be the
Right.
bad West, and they did what they're supposed to do. Joe Harris stepped up. He is a major glue piece. Shamit,
Joey Buckets.
yeah, Luau. These are guys that Bruce Brown throws in the first half. Are just these little chip in buckets. And Jeff Green, we get what you can out of him. Um, and hopefully he has like a breakthrough season because he had like an irregular heartbeat problem at a certain point in his career, right? Jeff Green.
I believe so. I don't know.
I think
Was it Jeff
he
Green?
was
I
either
don't know. I gotta check that.
yeah, it was Jeff Green. He had to sit out because he came in the same draft as Durant, if I'm not mistaken. I thought they were going to be like a major. This guy's 6'10", he could handle. I think he got the jumper. So anyway, I think he had an irregular heartbeat issue. So I'm not as concerned with the role players. I'd be surprised if all of a sudden they just don't show up in the playoffs. because the bubble is still in effect. That's when things get different. Is if the bubble's over, COVID is over, the vaccines come in, and then all of a sudden we have the players back in the crowd, the crowd back in. People can go into the stadiums,
Yeah.
and they
Okay.
feel real life play. But as they've been playing in the gym the whole year, and these role players have stepped up. Going back to Harden, I can see why people were reluctant about James Harden. It's
Yeah,
still
but still,
you don't want to
come on, man.
see that. We just said today LeBron was in cruise control. Look what he put up, and it is LeBron. But I never seen. Have we seen Durant just fold like that? Like it still is like an attitude issue. There still is the playoff Harden that we haven't seen. This is this we they harp on the
Yeah.
two
Well,
biggest
listen. No, go ahead. I'll let you. I'm sorry.
the two biggest stars in the league that have a bad track during the playoffs, bad history is Paul George and James Harden. They haven't exercised their playoff demons. And so I can see why people would are reluctant. That's why it was like, damn, should we trade Allen for this guy? Because Allen is the starting center for the next 5-7 years, and he's damn near dominant as a rim protector. There is a reason why.
All right,
And if
but
they could have found to not trade him, you would
all right,
do it.
listen. But let's be real here. If the Rockets, it was just a straight up trade like that. The Rockets, listen, we want Jared Allen for you to get James Harden. You're not making that trade, and you already
Again,
have Kyrie. You have Durant. You're gonna hesitate on that? Straight up, just play the player. No draft picks, nothing, none of that. Just Jared Allen. Listen, I already spoke my piece on Jared Allen. I told you how I felt about that. I still wish they would have kept him. But I mean, this is where we at. This is the trade off. This is you get James Harden's almost averaging a triple double. You get probably arguably the best offense ever on paper or will be in front of us. That's the trade off. But defensive wise, you took a hit. But listen, their offense is their defense. Do you take Jared Allen straight up? Do you take Jared Allen straight up for James Harden? Have to. You have to. I don't care who you are, what GM in the league. You have to take that trade with the headaches.
Only because of what you just said. With Sean Marks is the GM, right, for the Nets.
Yes.
Okay, so if B Mad is the general manager of the Brooklyn Nets, and Raymundo is his consigliere, and we're sitting there weighing this out, I think the bottom line would be, yo, Durant is 32, 33. Kyrie's in his late 20s. We need to win now. I love Jared. He's the future for any team at center, but we got to win now. And Durant, and this would be Harden. I would love the trade, actually. And I never thought that he would actually be an issue. I thought he would fix what was going on with the Nets. I didn't think that he was going to be an issue. I've always thought if Durant, understandably so, because of all three have a history or reputation in the media for that, for being like divas.
Right.
But from what I saw in Oklahoma, and again, Chris Bosh was the one who said that they specifically targeted James Harden in the championship because they didn't feel like they can stop Westbrook or Durant. I think that changes when you have a ball player like Kyrie Irving who can finish at the rim and shoot the threes, and he opens everything up for you. You cannot target any one of them. There is no targeting, except for if you're the Toronto Raptors, and we always talk about this. They're long, and they play. They have a lot of deflections. But even mentally, I didn't think that James Harden would be an issue because they're too old for all that now. They're too old for all that now. So, do we make the trade? Yeah, that was
That
my
was
long wind.
listen, but that was my point I was trying to make to you and Mel a few weeks ago when this was happening, when the change was happening. Y'all fought me like, yo, listen, man, those headaches, demons, I don't know how they're gonna be together. Listen, I'm like, yo, when that chip is on the line, your mentality changes, bro. Like, yo, listen, we already established individual rail wise. Like, we're already great players. All three of them are locked for the Hall of Fame, without a doubt. Them coming together, all that extra shit, the negativity, the how they look in the media, how they talk to the press. Yo, you trying to win that championship? You like, yo, listen, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play my role. You're gonna play yours, and we're working to this goal. We're gonna get this championship. Yo, I said it then. I said this weeks ago, and Kyrie confirmed it this week. Yo, who's gonna be the point guard of this team? It's Harden. James Harden, averaging a first game, triple double. From that first game, he dropped that triple double. Listening to him talk in the post game after that, saying that, yo, listen, I'm here to try to fit in, get to know everybody, know everyone's timing, get my timing, get everyone the ball, try to make sure everything is going right. The flow goes through me. Like, just the mentality. Him saying what he said that first game, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a problem. If he keeps this up, he keeps this mentality, it's a wrap for the league. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it, bro. Like, consistent. It's not like, all right, he's doing that because he's out here, he's trying to make, show face and trying to get the media to look at him a different light. I mean, that's working because he's actually doing it. It's not for show, it's not for play. He's really like, yo, listen, this is my role. I'm the point guard. And I'm getting Kyrie the ball, I'm getting KD the ball, Joe Harris, whoever. I'm setting this team up and we're gonna win. I just don't see no one beating them right now, bro. I don't. If they start rolling, I don't see no one stopping them. You can have the best defense in the world. Their defense is their offense. That's it.
uh, I was I was skeptical a week and a half ago. Um, this is before Kyrie decided to announce. Remember, they don't need a coach, right? Which is another lie. A lot has changed. What we
Yeah,
were talking about back then was we were worried about Kyrie's mental state because we didn't know what was going on with him. It wasn't Harden.
that's
It
true.
was
That's true.
Kyrie. We didn't know where he was. That is not the same. We're talking about somebody who started off in the preseason saying, I'm not talking to the media on Instagram, using social media, the new form of media, forgetting that that is media. So the flat earther has returned to earth. He's been grounded,
Yeah,
right?
he's wild.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
there's no more sage, none of that. It is straight. He calmed
Nah,
down. Whatever he was,
the Sage is still there.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the sage.
It's still there.
But another thing I was going to say, last point for me, um, this is like a good thing. Durant missing another few games. He's coming back from an Achilles injury. Like they're worried about Anthony Davis
Yeah.
straining his Achilles or tearing his Achilles the other day. That's why we were all like, we don't want to see that. We never want to see
Yeah.
something like that. Klay Thompson going through all this.
No.
So KD is in his 30s and he's getting a lot of time off. Like if you were the Lakers, would you all of a sudden, because they're going to clinch the playoffs in like a week and a half, right? Or maybe sooner, the Lakers are.
Mm,
Wouldn't you just say out of
right.
nowhere that like LeBron was around somebody with COVID so he could have 7 days off?
Listen, they don't even have to do that. Listen, there's no fans. There's no fan. It's not like, all right, all right, you're a ticket buyer, and your son is a big LeBron fan, and you're coming to the stadium expecting to see LeBron start. There's no one in the stands at Staples. So if they really want to rest LeBron, they can give him those days. Yeah, they can lie and like, oh, it's a COVID protocol. LeBron needs to be out for 7 days or 10 days or whatever it is. I mean, LeBron has that cachet where, like, yo, listen, I'm sitting down, and the fans are gonna be like, yo, all right, let me get geared up, let them rest up for the playoffs. We got this, ready in a good position. You know, it don't matter if they're in first place, if they're the first seed, second seed, they're gonna be fine. That's not the problem. They're gonna be fine, man. So if they was to do that, I would have no problem with LeBron sitting out for a few games to rest up. KD, yo, to be honest with you, after tonight, I'm like, with the team as is, KD can sit out for another week or two, like for whatever, like long as he's healthy to get to the point where that hamstring is good and you feel he's comfortable to get out there. Tonight, before the game, he was out there on the court with his shorts, he's dribbling around, just getting a little feel. I mean, I think he's gonna be all right, but yeah, they playing it safe, and that's a safe bet.
Shout out, look at that. Joe Harris, BK buckets, 21
20
points, 67 for three. They had to give Joe big BK buckets. They keep calling him Joey Buckets. BK buckets. You heard it here
BK
first.
buckets, baby.
You heard it here first. We gotta give him
My man.
the big bracket. He showed out. It's getting late.
Yeah.
It's getting late. Nets easily. You see the headline. Easily. This is coming from the driver of the Nets bandwagon. Easily defeat the Lakers. 109-90. It wasn't even really that close. They were down by 10 the entire game. Man, except for the first quarter. Anyway, be mad.
Yeah.
Love you, kid.
Yes, sir. Love you too, man.
From
This is good.
Santo Domingo to Panama to Miami back to Nueva York. Signing off. Be mad. Let me show some respect for ourselves. Be mad. Fabian Perspective.
Yo.
Raymundo, as they call me. See y'all later. Next game
Hold
is
on.
2 days from now. Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe so. I just want to say one thing, man. For the hip hop heads, man, rest in peace, Marky D of the Fat Boys. Passed away today. Just want to show love to him. He's a legend in hip hop, and yeah, man. Just want to leave that. I didn't want to let that go by. Rest in peace, man.
I think I guess a tad Kill 889, our boy Kill from Philly. I can't wait to get him on and talk about Philadelphia basketball.
Oh yeah, he was he was going in today.
I wasn't ready. I'm a serial texter. He's no joke. He lives by that name, Kill.
Oh shit.
He lives by that name, man. But I love it. I'll read all of it, and I was laughing. I just wanted to ask him, like, because I don't think Ben Simmons is that bad. Anyway, he pointed out that he's been talking about the Fat Boys, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. The gentleman who passed away from the Fat Boys,
Prince Marky D.
Prince Marky
Prince
D.
Marky
I just
D.
remember, like, barely remember them, because the first song I remember like memorizing was like, "Oh, Cool J's Around the Way, Girl," and thinking that was the illest shit ever. But then I would see them, and I was like, Fat Boys. Like, it was like wrestling. They like, I forgot who made this point, but then
It was
I think it was Russ. I think it was Russ who said every rapper, if you look at them from the 90s and even the 80s, they all look like superstars. You know what I mean? Like, even now, and I know we're getting some love and we're getting some responses right now, and it's confirmation, it's affirmation for us to keep going because we like doing this. Like we're putting in work. Look, you see the. But I would think you had. That's why you have to go through that grind. And back then, those were real stars. Like you ain't just gonna be called the Fat Boys and be cool. Like the Fat Boys are ill. So when he was saying
Yo,
he was kind of like fighting legacy, I didn't understand that. Like I'm glad that he was.
listen. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My
I'm glad
thing
that
with
he was.
all
But
right, my piece on it.
go ahead,
Yeah.
B. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. Nah, say what you. It's because you're coming from the heart right now. Go ahead, finish. Continue.
No, that was really it. The fact that we have to is crazy. But I just like, maybe that shows our age or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Right. I mean, for me, the first time I knew him, like, because just growing up in my household, my mother, she played rap. She played everything. Had an uncle that rap. Had older siblings that listen to rap. So even back then when I was like real young, like a baby, like what I'm saying, just coming up in my infancy, like just coming up, growing up, I knew of the Fat Boys. I knew the history of them. They were the Disco Three. That was originally their name. They was like
Mhm.
basically Curtis Blow, like their mentor. And then the first time seeing them was Crush Groove. Crush Groove, if you don't know, it's one of the greatest hip hop movies of all time. It was like a pseudo, it's like a loosely biography of autobiography of Russell Simmons, or the
Okay. Yeah.
startup of Def Jam, and they were in it. And just the favorite scene I remember as a kid was when they went to Sabaros in the city, and they were just ordering everything, and they were just eating all the pizza, all the food, and the song "Fat Boys." That was the shit. As a kid, like yo, you
Yeah.
hear that, you like, oh, this is catchy, like this is dope. And as a kid, like me watching Crush Groove and seeing the Fat Boys, that was dope. I mean, that was their niche, being called the Fat Boys, but yo, they were nice. They put out good music, man. And another movie that we used to always ask my father to rent from the video store was Disorderlies. Yo, my older sister, my older brother, myself, we loved that movie. And they were one of the first rappers to get a movie. I think they were the rappers, I mean, outside of like Crush Groove or Wild Style, like to have a motion picture, like a comedy. They were the first before Kid and Play had House Party. The Fat Boys had Disorderlies. A lot of people get that. And it was with the I think it was the guy from Trading Places. One of the Duke and Duke. He was the guy they were taking care of in the movie. But yeah, I used to love that movie as a kid. We used to always ask my father to rent that from the video store. So they have a special place in my childhood. So rest in peace to Prince Marky D, man. Word up.
And that's why you are B man, the real B dot. Because I don't even remember watching it. I don't even remember
Yeah, love
watching
that
that.
shit, man.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that movie at all. I didn't know that they had. It must have slipped my mind. I don't know, but rest in peace to Prince Marky D. Um, God bless him and his family. So we'll sign off on that note. And
Yep.
Sunday's the next Nets game. It's 8 o'clock versus the Clippers. So that should be interesting. See if Kevin Durant comes back for that.
Okay.
Uh, some we'll end it off here. Be mad, extraordinaire, Raymundo. We out of here. Love y'all. Love the love. Sec y'all Sunday.
Yes, sir.